So this is the JLC Squadra GMT chronograph, a rugged, sporty variant of the classic Reverso that's feature-packed and offers excellent comparative value against the rest of the model line. It might just be the most underappreciated Reverso and one you absolutely should know about. Let's take a look. So when it comes to iconic watches, the Reverso by Jaeger LeCoultre is up there with the very best of them. A rectangular watch with a reversible case, first developed for British Polo players in India, apparently. The concept was simple: develop a watch that could protect itself from the impact of a polo mallet. Watches back in the day used to use glass instead of plastic or sapphire for their crystals, so for protection the iconic Reverso case was formed, allowing players to rotate the body of the watch around, exposing a solid steel caseback, and thus protecting the watch face from blows. Great idea. But as watch technology improved and stronger materials became more commonplace, the need for such complicated case designs became irrelevant. But JLC continued to develop the model line, spawning countless iterations over the years. The fact the watch has twice the real estate as more traditional watch designs allowed for some creative use cases. From personalised engravings to display casebacks and even complete secondary watch faces, the JLC Reverso is simply a watch design icon. That brings us to the watch we have here, the Reverso Squadra Chronograph GMT. A watch with a comprehensive feature set, iconic design and more utilitarian aesthetic. It's a Reverso model that's somewhat under the radar to collectors and underappreciated. It might just be the Reverso variant that best blends its sports watch heritage with complicated and useful functions. The Squadra's case comes in at 34.8mm wide and 50.4mm lug to lug. It has a total thickness of 13.1mm, comprised of 11.5mm case, a 1.5mm thick chassis and roughly 0.5mm of air gap between the two. The total weight on this factory rubber strap comes in at 122 grams. On paper and compared to general sports-focused watches, the Squadra's dimension set is competitive. Its thickness, especially considering the complexity of the case, and its feature set are more than acceptable. Plus, its lug-to-lug dimension of 50.4mm, although on the larger side, is not overwhelming, and fits well on a wide range of wrists. It does, however, appear larger on wrists than its dimensions suggest. This is really a trick of the eye caused by the makeup of the case design. The case sides are curved but sit high on the wrist due to the underlying chassis. This visually makes the bulk of the watch sit off the wrist, exaggerating the size. So yes, it's a large watch, but not a monster. The case or body of the watch itself is classic Reverso. It's made from stainless steel and mostly of high polish. The details of the case are delightful, consisting of sharp angles and flowing curves along with the traditional Reverso striping. These sit above and below the watch face, deeply engraved into the steel. The flanks of the case are made up of two high polished curved bevels. There is no bezel in the common sense of the word. The overall design gives strong Art Deco vibes. There's something almost brutal to its design and heft, but again not overwhelmingly so. On the right side of the case we get a crown at 3 and 2 chronograph pushers above and below. Each is made from steel and PVD coated black. The lugs are angular and faceted, all finished in high polish. An important note on this and all Reversos is that the lugs aren't fixed to the main watch case. Instead they form part of the chassis, a fixed element of the design that makes a Reverso a Reverso. Each of the lugs are attached to one another by a flat section of stainless steel that's approximately 1.5mm thick. The inner face of the chassis has been nicely finished with pelage, but otherwise it's pretty simple in its construction. One point to note about the chassis and lugs: when viewed in profile the lugs taper down below the plane of the chassis base. This helps to wrap the watch around the wrist and improve fit. A design feature all modern Reversos have but was not part of the original design. Finally, we have the reverse side of the case and the mechanism that makes the Reverso magic happen. A push from the left-hand side disengages two steel ball bearings and allows the case hinge to operate. Flipping the case over and locking it by pushing from the right reveals the case back, an exhibition view of the movement. The reverse side of the case itself has a design that mirrors the main side. Same finishing, same engraved lines and same crystal, beneath which we get to see the JLC 754 movement. More on that later. Using the reverse side as an exhibition caseback is certainly cool, and I appreciate it. Personally, using the reverse side to show a second watch face would be preferable, as the cool factor of those double face watches is just off the charts. But having a view of the movement is the next best thing, and definitely a step up from just a solid piece of shiny steel. All in my opinion, of course. When it comes to the crystals, both are made from sapphire and measure 25mm wide by 27mm tall, not quite square. The crystals are almost flat but do have the slightest of curves to follow the arc of the case, which is a nice attention to detail. I don't believe there's any anti-reflective coating, but I could be wrong. Either way, I haven't had any major issues with glare. The crown of the watch is black in colour, made from steel and PVD coated. The shape is a heptagon with 7 sides or faces. Each of the alternating faces has a coin-style knurling, with the others being smooth. The face of the crown features a raised JL logo. It's a push-pull design and has 3 positions of operation. In the first, closed position, we can simply hand-wind the movement if required. In the second, we can adjust the GMT function to set a second time zone, or quick set the date if we rotate it in the opposite direction. Finally, in the third position, we can set the time. So the main dial of the watch is black in colour and features a slight matte texture to the base. Its design is made up of 4 printed squares, some slightly more rectangular than others. The main square features a track for reading minutes and seconds. We have 2 smaller tracks left and right which act as chronograph subdials. The one on the right displays hours, with the one on the left displaying minutes. The square at the bottom, or the third subdial, displays the second time zone. Around the larger outer track we have printed numerals to read hours. All printing is white except for the 12 and 24 indications on the subdials. These are shown in red. Around the edge of the dial between the base and the crystal we have a sloping rehort, which also features a printed minute track. When it comes to text, below 12 we have the word automatic, followed by Jaeger LeCoultre, and above 6 we have the word chronograph and Swiss made. The other main feature of the dial is the double-digit date window at 12. This is a nicely executed addition and works well with the overall design of the watch. Fun fact, in the world of luxury watches, double-digit dates are most commonly associated with A. Lange & Söhne, but it's actually a JLC design and patent that was given to Lange by JLC. So the Squadra features 6 hands on the dial: hours, minutes, chronograph minutes, the GMT hand, and chronograph seconds. The main hour and minutes are high polished and chronograph seconds painted red. The hour and minute hands also feature a thin strip of loom down their centres. It's important to note that natively the watch doesn't feature a running seconds display, although because the movement features a vertical clutch, we can keep the chronograph seconds hand running full time if desired. The reverse side of the case or chassis is a simple brushed piece of stainless steel that features engravings. From top to bottom we first get a JL logo followed by Jaeger LeCoultre. Below this we have Reverso and Squadra, and towards the bottom engravings that show water resist of 50 meters, the 1000-hour control test, and model numbers. This particular version of the Reverso comes on a black factory rubber strap, mostly flat and features embossed grooves on the top side. The strap tapers from 22mm at the lugs down to 20mm at the clasp. The reverse side features a recess for comfort and heat release, along with raised Jaeger LeCoultre wording. On the shorter section we get 2 mind loops, one fixed and one adjustable. The longer piece features 8 holes for adjusting the fit. The clasp is a steel double-fold deployant. It's all of high polish and features a raised JL logo on the top side. When open, we're met with thick gauge steel, high polish and a JLC engraving. The clasp is friction fit, so no triggers, but the action to undo and close is firm. Plus we have the added security of the minder loops. Powering the Reverso Squadra is the in-house JLC 754 automatic movement. Historically, to find an automatic in a Reverso is rare, again making this watch somewhat unique. The movement features a beat rate of 28,800 vibrations per hour or 4 Hz, a free sprung balance to protect against shock, 39 joules and a total part count of 296. We get a power reserve of 65 hours and an accuracy of no worse than -4 to +6 seconds per day, or COSC standard. Additionally, we get a vertical clutch and column wheel chronograph that can be left running full time, the date, second time zone and 50 meters of water resistance. Overall, the movement is comprehensive and feature packed. Plus we get a nice level of finishing, with Côte de Genève, heat blued screws and various engravings. So when it comes to wearability, the Squadra does wear well for its size, but it is considerably bigger than a normal Reverso. But this does provide a more sporty feel. The black accents, rubber strap and general heft give the watch Royal Oak Offshore or Hublot Big Bang vibes. On my 6.5-inch wrist it's large, but wearable. If you like larger sporty watches and have a wrist of my size or larger, have at it. In reality, the dimension set isn't overly large. It's simply the overall ergonomics of the design that make it feel more cumbersome. So this particular model is no longer in production, this reference being from 2009. However, they can often be found on the likes of Chrono 24. Prices range from low 4,000s up to around 6 depending on condition and set. For that sort of money, the brand proposition is incredible, especially when you consider the history and brand heritage of JLC. It's even more of a bargain when you consider the cheapest mechanical Reverso you can buy new is around £10,000. So, on to 5 not so good things about the Reverso Squadra. Its design won't be for everyone. The Art Deco square rectangular aesthetic is a bit love or hate. Its size is large, but not overwhelming. Again, it's personal preference, but if you can make it work, have at it. The reversible display caseback is cool, but somewhat useless. Not sure how often I'd wear the watch in its reverse position. The layout and design of the subdial markings are small and fairly hard to read. It's not a chronograph you can read at a glance. Finally, there's not much functional loom, which isn't great for a sports watch, but it's not a deal breaker. Now for all that's good. The overall quality. This is a phenomenal package, bordering on high horology. For the price, it really is a compelling offer. The iconic engineering of the case. The hinge mechanism is truly a wonder of watchmaking. Plus, it makes for an excellent fidget tool. The feature set. A chronograph, date, GMT. Honestly, what more could we want from an all-round sports watch? It's truly an excellent offering. Its versatility. The Squadra makes for a great daily wear. The 50 meters of water resistance makes it surface swimmable, and changing the strap can make for a great formal option. The value for money. On the second-hand market, you can pick this up for less than 6k. I can't think of much else for the money that comes close as a total package, especially when you consider the brand you're buying into. So what's the verdict on the JLC Squadra GMT chronograph? Again, it won't be for everyone, but if you're a fan of the Reverso line and want an all-round sporty version that you can wear every day, look no further. Yes, it's not a subtle watch, but that's not really the point. The Reverso is an icon that was designed for specific sporting use. The Squadra fully embraces that, and this might just be the best sporty all-round Reverso money can buy. Phenomenal watch. Guys, thank you so much for watching. What are your thoughts on the Squadra chronograph? Are you a fan? Would you consider buying one? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like this video, please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss the next review, and we'll catch you in the next video.